Okay, so this is an introduction to radical equations and my attempt to flip the classroom. So you are responsible for doing all of these problems, having all the steps, and you'll get homework credit for that when you bring this back on Friday. And I expect you to be ready to work in the classroom on Friday because you have watched this video and you've got a great start on this skill. Okay, so when we have radical equations, that means we have equations with radicals, and they have variables and they're radicands. Now we could have radical signs, or we could have rational exponential notation, either one. So let's begin. I'm going to do a couple guided practice. You're still responsible for all of the steps, and then when you do these other problems on your own, you're responsible for showing all of those steps also. All right, the first thing we want to do is square both sides of this equation. So we have the square root of x plus 2, so we're going to square that, and we're going to square 3. Now when we square this radical, the radicand simply just comes out because we squared it, and this is the result. And 3 squared is 9. Now, all I have to do is subtract 2 from both sides. And I get x equals 7. But we're not done yet. What I need to do is check the answer, because often when we square these radicands, we're going to end up with one or more solutions, and some of them may be extraneous. And that's a big word for doesn't work. So we want to be sure that our solutions work, because if they don't, it's not a solution. Okay, so we're going to plug in 7. Square root of 7 plus 2 equals 3. Square root of 9 equals 3. And 3 is the principal square root of 9, and that's really, and we're only looking for the principal square root, so that works out, and 7 is a solution. So be sure to show your checks. You'll get full credit on your tests and quizzes if you show your checks. All right, the next guided practice, instead of square root, we got the cube root, so we need to take we're going to take both sides to the power of 3. We're going to cube it. And the same with the square root, the 6x minus 10 radicand comes out. It's no longer a radicand. And 2 to the third power is 8. All right, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides and divide by 6. X equals 3. But once again, we're not finished. We need to check this. So I'm going to plug 3 in to our original equation, and we've got 18 minus 10 cube root of 8 equals 2, and the principal root of 8 is, of cube root of 8 is 2. It works out. It checks. X equals 3 is a solution. Okay, third example. Here we have a rational notation here. We want to isolate this expression right here, this radical expression. So we're going to divide both sides by 2, and that equals x to the 3/4 power equals 8. Okay, now we can use the power of a power property, and what that means is we can multiply these exponents times each other to get 1. And we have to do it, of course, to both sides. So when you multiply 3/4 times 4/3, you get 12 over 12, or 1, and that's good because that's what we want to find out what x equals. Now remember, it's always easier to take the root first. So we're going to take the third root of 8, which is 2, and then we'll take 2 to the 4th power, and x equals 16. Now we just have to plug it in to the original equation. Once again, take the 4th root of 16 first, and then cube 2, and we have 16 equals 16. It checks, and x does equal 16. Okay, This next problem gets very involved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first half and then ask you to try to finish it off. And then you'll have 5, 6, 7, and 8 to complete for your homework. And if you do them all, you'll get full credit. Let's go to this problem here. All right. There's no way to isolate the radicals here because I either have 4 plus or I can subtract 4. Because I have this binomial radicand under here, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4 from both sides. I just like the way that came out better because I tried it the other way. Okay. So now I'm going to square both sides, and here's the trick. You've got this binomial, so you know when you square a binomial, you're not going to just end up with these elements in the parentheses. You're going to end up with a trinomial. So we have to use FOIL. And that's where you got to brush up on your FOIL skills. So we, multiply -4 times -4. We do all the FOIL, and we end up with this term. And then, of course, 5x times 5x is just the square root of 5x times square root of 5x is just 5x. And then here, this one's easy. The radicand just comes out. All right. So now I want to combine some like terms here. And I'm going to get everything over on one side. I'm going to get this x and this -4. All right, so I add 4 to both sides. And when I add 4 to actually that's -4 times a -4. That's a +16, isn't it? Yeah. And when I add 4, it's 20. When I subtract this x, I get a +4x. And then I'm going to add this 8 times the square root of 5x to the other side. All right, so that's as far as I'm going to take it, and what I'm going to ask you to do now is square both sides and find what x equals. And then you'll find that these other examples aren't near as complicated. Good luck. Please watch the video, and we will work a bunch of problems tomorrow.